I want to share with you something that super exciting and that you may have actually missed in the news. So I don't often share news stories, but this one is mind blowing, and I think that most of the media have not encapsulated why this is so incredible. Google created an artificial intelligence program that won and that beats the world's strongest player at a game called Go. So this may seem like a very nerdy thing. Why would you care? This is very, very interesting. It's most possibly the most interesting game that's been played in the history of humankind so far. Because about a little over almost 20 years ago, a computer beat a human at chess. And that was extraordinary, to think that a machine had become smart enough to beat a human at chess. And the way they did that is using a tree theory. So they put into the computer all the different games that have been played. So the computer had a library of hundreds of thousands or millions of games, and based on that, it would see what's the position on the board, analyze what are all the games that are similar, see what are the similar moves, and based on the existing moves, would play the best move. And that was great. That worked for chess, and wow, a machine beat a human. The problem is that using that same algorithm, they tried to play this game called Go, which is a Chinese game that's very, very simple. The rules are very simple. But it's played on a 19 by 19 board. And so what happened is that using the same algorithm as for chess, you would only get a very low-level amateur player. And that was disturbing because they couldn't get a computer to beat a human. And so for the last almost 20 years, there's been people all over the world trying to create computer softwares that would beat a human at this game called Go, and they couldn't. And so that's why programmers call that the holy grail of artificial intelligence, which is that the day we can beat professional players at Go, we've taught machines to think. Because just giving them the existing games is not enough. 6 months, I think it was 2-3 years ago, there's a software that came out and that for the first time beats a sort of low-level professional player. And that was incredible. That was like quite outstanding, but still it wasn't close enough. But in each iteration of how they got better, there's something for you to learn, for us to learn as human beings about human intelligence. And that's why this is so exciting, because there is something about human intelligence we can learn. So the way they improved, so the first evolution in artificial intelligence was learning from history, which is learn from the best moves, and in any given situation, see what is the best thing that was played in the past. The second iteration was using nuclear algorithm used for calculating nuclear reactions that were used, because they include probability theories. They include the idea of probability, that something is not always black or white. It may or may not happen, and there's a probability that something may happen at a certain place at a certain time. And so by smartly using probability, by learning how to make, basically taking calculated risks, you can reduce the number of possibilities that you look into. So that's the second thing, learning about probabilities and statistics and risk. And now, this new program, Be the World's Strongest Player, which none of the professional players believed was possible. And what happened is extraordinary. I watched the games being played with the commentaries, and the commentaries as well from the commentators, the professional Go player commentators, as well as from the Google team that worked on the artificial intelligence, gives us the key to learning the next steps to developing human intelligence. The third one, is the most mind-blowing one. They added a random move generator. So in essence, what the software does is that it looks first at the situation, what are the best moves that were played in the past, based on the probability of where they should be looking for the information. Then once they've pinpointed what is the best thing that players have played in the past, then it will throw in random moves. So it will generate random unknown moves that have never been played before, and it will try out and see what happens if that was played, what would happen next. And then the second, so that's the second, the next key is the ability for the computer to try something random and then see what happens in the future. Create a memory of the future, a scenario of the future. And then the last key is from that position to be able to assess how good that situation is. So, by throwing a random move, playing it out, assessing how good the final situation is. And by doing that, what they've seen is that they've seen the computer play moves that no human has ever played before. So all the commentators were standing there at some of the moves thinking, what the hell? This is a move the computer invented. It's not something it learned from a past move. It's a new move. So the computer created something new, had a thought that was in a way original. And when it comes to artificial intelligence, this is incredible, because it means that we can get machines to come up with better ideas and better solutions than we have come up in the past. For human intelligence, it gives us 5 keys to developing human intelligence. 1, learn from the past. Learn about what the best people in the past did. 2, learn about probability, statistics, and risks. 3, learn to generate random moves. Learn to generate and think of random things that you could do that you've never done before. 4, from these random actions that you have never taken before, to be able to predict the future that would happen if you were to take these actions. And then 5, to be able to assess, once you've predicted these futures, how good the situation is for you. If you can master these 5 elements, you have basically mastered the key to creating the most intelligent computers that we have to date. What made me the happiest is that these are the 5 things that I do with my clients. These are the 5 things that I work on all the time. These are the 5 things that have fascinated me the most for the last 15 years. That's everything that I've spent my time doing. Learning from the past, understanding statistics and probabilities of things happening and not happening, of people behaving in certain ways and not behaving in other ways. Being able to generate random moves and do things that were never done before, and understand how and why people do that. Being able to create memories of the future, to be able to have the skill to know what will happen next, and to know how to plan these future possibilities. And then 5th, to be able to assess how good the scenarios will be in the future based on the context of the future. So there is here an amazing key, an amazing learning that I'm so excited about. And if this excites you, if this interests you, if you find this as fascinating as I do, and if you want to learn from this, or if you have ideas on how we can learn from this as humans, share comments below, ask questions below, and let's explore together. Have an amazing weekend, and I love you. This is incredible. We live in an exciting time of history. Um, the next step is the machine learning. The Google guys have already said it. That's what they're working on already. The next step is creating the machine that can learn to beat the world's best Go players, but without giving them the previous human games. So without knowing the past. Can a computer learn by itself to become better than a human? So that's the next step. Watch out. The world is changing fast, very fast.